Introducing to you one of the genuine legends of Australian Muay Thai, the man with the smile and the power to go. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for John Wayne Parr!
Over 400 years ago, the Kingdom of Siam was in the middle of a 200-year struggle with bordering Burma and Cambodia. The art of Muay Thai was developed out of these wars by the Siamese military. Unarmed techniques were developed when soldiers lost their weapons in warfare. The skills of today are almost identical to the battlefield techniques of yesterday. Unlike the restrictive styles of modern-day boxing and martial arts, Muay Thai is a science of 8 limbs. Hands, elbows, knees, feet are all used as weapons. In 1767, the ancient Siam capital of Ayutthaya fell. The invading Burmese troops rounded up thousands of Thais and took them as prisoners. Among them were a large number of Thai boxers. As legend has it, the Burmese king Mangra wanted to see how his boxing champion would compare to the best Thai fighter, a man named Nai Kanam Tom. The men fought, and Nai Kanam Tom won easily. The king asked him if he would battle an additional 9 Burmese champions to prove his skill and courage. Nai Kanam Tom agreed and defeated them all. King Mangra was so impressed that he not only gave him his freedom, but declared every part of the Thai is blessed with venom. Wayne Parr started his fighting career at age 14. His first professional bouts were at age 17, which included winning an Australian title. From humble beginnings, Parr would go on to become a 7-times world Muay Thai champion. A true legend of the sport. A sport where participation is not for the faint-hearted. Punches and kicks are delivered with devastating effect. Elbows and knees capable of ending a contest in rapid time. It is a sport of tradition, forged from centuries of rigorous training and combat. A rare discipline where a lion-hearted loss can reap a fight of more respect than an easy victory. This is John Wayne Parr's world.
When I was a young boy, I used to watch the Monkey Magic and stuff when I was 3 or 4 years old, and it always inspired me to get into the martial arts, whether it be taekwondo, karate, kung fu, ninjutsu, anything to do with training and fighting. That was my whole dream. Back when I was a teenager, Van Damme was my ultimate hero. My room was just full of Van Damme posters. Whatever I get my hands on, as soon as a new movie would be released at the video shop, I'd be the first one at the door, putting my name on the back of the poster so that when the video got old, that I was the first one to receive it. He was the ultimate hero. And then we moved to Brisbane at the age of when I was 10. And then 11, we found a taekwondo school that wasn't too far away from our house. And yeah, just absolutely loved it. The whole idea of wearing a karate gi and as you're doing punches, the karate gi just snap when you do your kicks. You really felt like you're the Karate Kid. So that was my whole ambition, was to be a world champion in Taekwondo and go to Korea and live over there and adapt to their fighting style. After about a year and a half, 2 years, the Taekwondo school, they were sort of struggling financially. So they moved out of the little hall that we're in, and it would just so happen that 6 months later, kickboxing started in the very same hall. So a few of the boys from high school, they were keen to give it a try. And then The very first day, it was just blew my socks off how more exciting it was than Taekwondo because of the head punches and there was knees and everything else. And I thought, yeah, now my whole life's goal is now to go to Thailand and become a Thai boxer.
The closest thing, I think, to a street fight comes with Muay Thai. Why? Because if you fight under Muay Thai rules, not K1 rules as they call it, where you can clinch, use the knees, you're allowed to use the elbows, I mean, it doesn't get any more real than that. As people know, it's not like in karate we used to hit, it would sort of stop, but with Muay Thai, boom, they cut it. So it slices you, and it just opens the skin up. They also grapple, they will do hours and hours where they'll clinch you up. And once you get in a Muay Thai clinch, if you don't know what you're doing, it's good night. But with the grappling, with the elbows, with the knees, which again have no protection on them, so it's an incredibly hard object to get hit with. The leg kicks, you can actually throw somebody in Muay Thai. So the only thing missing is the fact that you can't go on with the grappling game once you hit the ground. So again, from a combative point of view, to have elbows, knees and everything, the footwork of a boxer, and the grappling skills and everything, Muay Thai is second to none.
In 1993, I met John Wayne Parr. By that time, he's not the John Wayne Parr yet. He's a Wayne Parr. He's just a little boy, look like he homeless boy. Walk in, come to the shop in the Rapid Plaza, and he asked me, I said, "Can I have a satay?" And after that, the conversation is start. I want to learn Muay Thai.
My very first meeting with Richard Vell was when I was just a lad, just 16. Through a friend of a friend, they found out I was going to have my first fight against a Thai, my very first Thai. Word got around, so this Thai man come and visited me. Said, if you're going to fight a Thai, you're going to need some extra help. So I have a friend that can show you the true Thai style, so that you don't get too injured and you'll have a better chance. We started teaching with a man named Saki. He started showing me the basics of changing my guard a little bit, making me standing more strong. And then he said, I have a friend, Richard Vell. He has a Thai restaurant in the middle of Surface Paradise. If you go and see him, he'll sponsor you to go and eat dinner once a week. How was this? My very first sponsorship. And Richard was just this really awesome character that just loved the sport, and he'd shadow box in the middle of his restaurant and he'd show us what to do and what he expected of us. I just felt like I had a very strong bond. And then my house was only a 15-minute walking distance, so I'd walk to the shop, and it wasn't so much about going and have a meal anymore. It was just for Richard's company. I'd just sit in the back room in the kitchen, and as he'd prepare the chicken skewers or slicing up anything, all the food, we'd just talk about Thailand, Muay Thai, Thai culture. My whole day would just be spent in the kitchen, just listening to stories, not so much talking, just listening. I had a really tough fight in Noosa.
Second round, he doesn't do well. I lose my temper. I just go up on the ring and whack him on the head. I said, look, you want to be Muay Thai future, do this one. Do them properly.
And ended up coming back and winning by knockout in the 5th. And Richard was so impressed. He said, I think you got what it takes to go all the way in the sport. So I'm prepared to send you to Thailand. If you can organise your own passport, I'll do the rest.
My sister-in-law and my brother went back to Thailand. So, and before I went back to Thailand, we said to Wayne, you want to go to Thailand? Say, I like to go to Thailand to learn Muay Thai. And I said, look, Wayne, you make passport. This is your dream come true. This is the ticket. I bought the ticket from him and make a tattoo like this in his shoulder and say, when you become Muay Thai, but you make sure 100% you're going to be Thai boxer, because it's tattoo at the back, symbol of Muay Thai, will be stick on your back all your life. When you're going to Thailand, you're going to learn Muay Thai. You're not going holiday. You're going to the help. You're not going to stay in the hotel. You're not going to be eat a hamburger nice food, good food, whatsoever, anything. You gonna stay the same in the camp, same like any Thai people do it.
Yeah, I got my passport, and then Richard kept his word and organised my ticket and organised for me to stay with his family in Pattaya.
A quiet back street in Pattaya is the address of Sidyon Tong International Boxing Camp, John Wayne Parr's very first Thailand gym.
Here we are at Sidyon Gym in Pattaya, Thailand. This is the very first gym that I came to as a 19-year-old with the hopes and dreams of one day of becoming a Muay Thai champion. I got asked to come here by my sponsor in Thailand, as this was one of the most famous gyms in Thailand at the time, and it was such an honour to come here as a kid and to see the Thai fighters training and going through the motions, and just having a dream to be one day to be in their footsteps and to win a championship, a real championship, not just a national one, but to come to Thailand and fight the very best of the best. This was the ring where I started all my beginnings, my humble beginnings. I kicked the pads every afternoon for 3 to 5 rounds, and just every day just exhausted. And I'd look across and I'd see the Thai boys, and they'd be kicking the pads 3 times as hard and have the 10 times the amount of work rate. You know, how am I ever going to fight these guys? These guys are just machines. But just kept plodding along, getting my basic skills up to scratch. I'd already had about 13 fights in Australia before I came here, so I sort of had a little bit of an idea. But just trying to deal with the heat, and the different conditions was very, very different to back home. So this is where the journey all started. I got dropped off by Richard's brother, and he said, "Okay, this is where you're going to be living from now on." He introduced me to the family, and then they drove away. So as a 19-year-old, it was very scary. This was with the realization that I was on my own. For the first 3 months, I shared a double bed with Richard's brother named Tung, and he was a heavy-set man. So he'd take up 3/4 of the bed, and I'd be pressed up against the wall with just a little bit of place to sleep. And every night he used to snore like it was a freight train, and everything would vibrate in the room, and it was just impossible to sleep. And to make matters worse, I'd always get a leg or an arm thrown on me either side. And yeah, a lot of memories from living here and gradually learning how to speak Thai, because everyone spoke English, so there was no urgency to pick up the language. I trained at Sidyon for 3 months, and it was okay, but I didn't feel like I was growing as a fighter. I sort of felt like I was sort of staying stale. I had one fight for the camp, which I won by 4th round knockout, but after that I really wanted to push to be a star. So it just so happened Sangten Noi came to the Gold Coast to have a fight, and his manager and Sangten met with Richard, and Richard took care of him, showing him hospitality, taking them to the parks and giving them money and buying them clothes and food, and really giving in his heart why they stayed here. Before they left, they said, as an appreciation for everything that you've done for us, we'd like to return the favour by, when we get back to Thailand, we'll go and pick up that boy you keep talking about, and we'll take him to our camp, and he can train with us. So sure enough, I get a knock on the door the next morning when they arrived, and said, "Come on, you're going to come to Bangkok now." So whoa. This used to be where we used to buy all our sweets and drinks from. So this is probably one of our favourite little pastimes, was coming here and getting a Coke or just a bit of sugar to put back into the system after sweating out 3 or 4 kilos after a session. Not only is the shop gone, the whole house seems to have disappeared, so this is a little bit sad. Hello.
Hey, Paul.
ไปยืนบุกทางด้านเย็บหายนะครับก่อนเกมคาโดอัลเชอร์ติยอมรับว่าโชคดีที่ไม่ถูกโรมันทำรับเวชปลดหลังทำผลงานย่ำแย่เกือบได้เพียง10 คะแนนจาก 10 นัดส่วนกรณีดิเย่ดรอปบาร์ที่ปากเสียงกับจอห์นเทอร์รี่จากเกมที่เสมอกับ
พ่อก็นั่งแบบเนี้ยเขาก็นั่งลงกราบพ่อนะประกราบก็ขอร้องพ่อไม่เอามวยฝรั่งพ่อกลัวไม่เอาขอจอนเวบอกเอาเถอะเดี๋ยวมันเกิดทำรายได้ มันทำรายได้รวยขึ้นมาพี่โนจะได้มีสตังค์กับมันอยู่ถึงเช้าขออยู่เนี่ย ขอจอนเวรมาอยู่กับค่ายพ่อเนี่ยนะถึงเช้าพ่อก็ปฏิเสธตลอดพอนี้เห็นแกเป็นตะคริวที่ขาหัวหน้าวิชิตเป็นตะคริวที่ขาหยิกเลยสงสารแกเลยโอเคเอาคนแรกผมเป็นคนไทยใช่ไหมผมไม่ชอบเป็นมวยที่ว่าเป็นค่ายมวยที่ว่าอำพรางปิดบังอำพรางเป็นมวยเดิมพันไงเราต้องปิดบังการซ้อมไม่ให้ใครดูไม่ให้ใครดูส่วนพ่อดุพ่อให้ใจจอห์นเวนสู้จริงไหมจริงครับจอห์นเวนถึงสู้เคยแพ้ไหมไม่เคยแพ้
โอ้แม่มา
เหลือมานี่มานั่งนี่เหลือ
สบายดีเนาะ
มานี่
แม่ไปนั่งข้างพ่อ
เหลือนั่งนี่มานั่งนี่เร็ว
เวนสวัสดีโอ้กูด
This is my adopted mom
พ่อฟันบนหมดแม่ฟันล่างหมด
เอาไว้มาโอ้เวนเป็นผู้ใหญ่ขึ้นเยอะ
โอ้อายุมากแล้ว
สบายดี
ดังแล้วพ่อว่ามาใหม่ๆพ่อตั้งชื่อจอห์นเวน
So in the beginning, every Thai fighter has to have a fight name, and then Paul said, "Oh, we can't call you Wayne. No, Wayne's no good. Wayne, we've got to think of something really cool to call you." I said, "John Wayne. That's from now on. Your name's going to be John Wayne."
ยังเรียนชิวจะเรียนชิวหนังดังแล้วจะเรียนพอกัง
John Wayne's the most famous cowboy to ever walk the planet. So if you can take on his name, with the good name becomes good karma. Maya used to all the Thai boys they could eat everything.
แม่แผนก
หากิน เป็นกุ๊ก
French toast once a week just to give me and a Milo just to break it up so I didn't have to eat the spicy every day. Maya was a legend. She's Paul was the master and Maya was like our mum. So if we ever had any problems, we come see Maya and Maya takes care of us for everything.
Take care, okay.
Yeah, it's exactly like your own family away from home. It's awesome. Very good memories.
อยู่
15 ปี
แล้วอยู่
เนาะ15
อยู่กันมาก็รัก
เหมือนลูก
รักเหมือนลูก
ใจนะยังนึกถึงนี่ขอบใจ
ไม่มีพ่อไม่มีแม่ผมไม่ได้คือ
ขอบใจไม่ลืมกูด
ลืมไม่ได้ CP 5 ปี
คือที่จะถามพ่อว่าดีใจที่สุดนะดีใจมากๆเลยนะ ที่เขารู้จักบุญคุณว่าพ่อแม่เนี่ย ดีใจที่เขา
ไม่ลืมพ่อกับแม่
ที่สุด ดีใจที่สุด ที่เขามาวันนี้นะดีใจที่สุดในชีวิต
Yeah, it's very emotional. It's very hard to. It feels like I haven't left. I remember sitting on this floor eating, getting yelled at, having parties. There's so many memories in this whole complex. So good and bad, but I'm sure any household is exactly the same with any family. So yeah, it's like I grew up here. It's awesome. อยากบอกคิดถึงมากๆกับการขอบคุณทุกอย่าง
ขอบคุณเนี่ยโอ้
มึง
รัก
ขอบคุณพ่อ
พ่อแม่ก็รักเวรนะรักคิดถึง
คนช่วยเสื้อของ Once upon a time, this is where all the training used to be done. We had the boxer room here, where 10 of us used to sleep, side by side on the wooden floor. I wish I could show you the bathroom, because the bathrooms are old school, where you splash on, then you lather up the soap, and you splash off again, and then it's a sit-down toilet with no toilet paper, so you have to put water in your hand to wipe your bum. You splash the water in. The ring was in the centre, so it was nice and open, so the breeze could come through, but it'd keep the sun off. And the name of the gym's still up here. I can't read Thai, but it pretty much says Lumpinee. Unfortunately, though, the water that's been here from all the sewerage and the shower used to all sit underneath the ring with all the mosquitoes, and then over the years the wood's rotted. But you can see the remains of where the ring was. Under the heat, when it used to get really crazy, it used to get 38, 40 degrees by 3, 4 in the afternoon, and then we'd have to do between 4 to 8 rounds or 5-minute rounds on the pads. It was so hot and so hard and get so yelled at, but without what we did here for all those years, I wouldn't have a gym back in Australia, and I wouldn't have the belts on the wall, and I wouldn't have a house, and I would have nothing. I'd have a 9-to-5 job, if that. And so this is where it all started. This is my history. My history is here. In Thailand, the ring is considered your classroom. This is where you're learning all your skills. So before a fight, you say thank you to the ring for helping you get fit and prepare for every battle. So yeah, it's not just the apparatus. It's part of a big part of Muay Thai. It's huge. Before fights, we'd buy flowers and we'd buy the cloths, and we'd decorate the corner posts. We believe that the wood has ghosts inside them. From when you chop down the trees, the ghost comes through the wood. So we ask the ghost for permission to give you inner strength as well. Sometimes the ghosts are women and they like to be dressed up. So you decorate them with pretty ribbons and sometimes perfume, and you add the powder, and monks come and bless the ring as well. And it's the same material that I made my mongkong out of. One of the old ghost houses, I asked permission if I could take the old ribbon and replace it with a new one, and out of the old stuff I plaited it to make my mongkong. So that's why it's so special to me.
The Lumpinee Stadium in Bangkok was opened on December 8, 1956. It is the Thai boxing equivalent to Madison Square Gardens, a mecca where every aspiring Thai boxer dreams of fighting. It is considered sacred ground where fights are held 3 times a week to packed audiences in excess of 10,000. By being invited to fight at Lumpinee Stadium, Thai boxers know they have made a name for themselves in the Muay Thai world.
As the one fight goes up, the second fight is to come down and sit in this seat. And then in here is all the trainers cheering for the red corner, giving them instructions. They're not allowed out of this pen while they're cheering, just so they don't get in the way of the general public that are paying. And then the next fighter's in their position. They got the gown on, they got their monk on. They're trying to psych themselves up. They're watching the fights, the atmosphere of all the betting. And then as soon as the fight before them, as soon as they're finished, this guy's up. He gets ready to go up into the ring. As he's about to go up, the next fight takes the position on the chair. So there's no delay whatsoever in between the fights. It's just one after the other, bang, bang, bang. It's not like foreigner countries where you have the walkout music and the lights and the fireworks and all the razzmatazz. It's just pure business. It's all about making money. In the change room here, we have a sign, Tam Tort Team Muay. I mean, in the olden days, if there was so much pressure on the fighters to win that if they lost, the trainers used to give them a backhand, or there was what's known as round 6, which no boxer would want, because no matter how strong you are, you could never hit your trainers back because they're older and they have the more respect. So it's pretty much asking, please do not hit your fighters until you get back to your own camp. Thai style, Thai style. As the Thai boxers are just about to make their way up into the ring, they have a little sand pit. So they'll kneel down, they'll ask permission from the gods, from Buddha, from anyone that's going to give them inner strength. They'll touch slightly onto the sand and brush it into their hair. The Thais believe that when you're born from Mother Nature, and when you die, you go back into the earth. So no matter who you are, or if you're a champion or anyone, you're never above Mother Nature. So that's just a way of to remind themselves that they're still human before they go into battle. In the mornings, Wayne's about 8 o'clock fight day. So in the Western country, we have the luxury of weighing in the night before, whereas in Thailand, same day weigh-in. Here, it's all fenced off, and all the punters will line up around here, and they'll have one official that stands at the scales, and then the boxer has to go into the cage naked, no towel, no undies, no nothing. And then they'll hop on the scales, and then on the blackboards they'll have a guy with some chalk, and he'll write down your official weight. And once you get the tick of approval, and then you're allowed to go and rehydrate. But it's pretty rough. You only get about 2 meals in, breakfast and lunch. It's sort of hard. If you're losing about 8 kilos, you're only putting about 3 back on. Or what you can do is go to the local hospital and you can get a bag of IV to help put the vitamins back into your system. So pretty much back to normal come fight time. I had three fights for Songchai, which I won as well. So now Songchai said, okay, I think it's time to for the big time. I'd like to promote you at Lumpinee. It's like, whoa, this is the ultimate dream. At this stage, no Australian had ever fought there before. So it was an absolute honour to be the first. That night, one of the Thai champions, Namkabun, he was defending his Lumpinee title, and I was the very next fight after him. So I'm sitting in the little pen that they have at Lumpinee, and the crowd's just going ballistic for the main event, and just the roar of the crowd, and I'm in the waiting pen just absolutely pulling my pants, thinking, holy crap. I'm waiting at the bottom of the stairs, and Namkabun's come off the stairs, and as he's come down, he's slapped my glove, wishing me luck. Good luck, mate. I said, oh my God, I can't believe. Not only there's Namkabun, but here I am just about to climb the ropes. Got into the ring, and as I'm doing the Ramoi, just taking big breaths, thinking to myself, oh, this is it. I'm living my dream. So I got in there, and the first 2 rounds wasn't going too well because I'd lost a lot of weight. But then after getting a growling into round 2, I started to pick up my game. And once I started to land a few shots, the Thai crowd started to cheer. I think I was the big underdog, so it would have been big money for anyone that put money on me. So the crowd was cheering and cheering, and then the more that I landed, the deeper the cheer would get. And then I ended up landing some nice shots in the 4th, stopping him in the 4th. So yeah, it was just the most amazing buzz you could ever imagine. This was my second fight at Lumpinee. I only just turned 21 a week before, so I didn't really have a chance to have a party or cake or anything. And one of the big things at Lumpinee is if you fight on TV and win by knockout, you receive a gold chain. So I wanted to give myself a gold chain for my birthday. From the opening round, I applied lots of pressure, and having a slight weight advantage, I tried to make sure that I loaded up all my shots to hit as hard as possible, to make him feel everything. I'd worked with my trainer in the hotel room before we left that every time he threw a kick, we were going to catch, throw a leg kick, and then add one to the head. Just like that. From here I could see Joe Louis was a little bit rattled, so I wanted to jump on him as quick as I could. He was very resilient though, so I took a lot of shots. As I was halfway through the combo, I heard someone yell out, "Throw an uppercut." So I started looking for the gaps, and the last one landed flush. I knew Joe Louis had no chance of recovering in such a short time, so I ran across the ring, and while the uppercuts were still working, I wanted to throw as many as I could to finish the fight. Yes, and I finally won my birthday wish. Once I moved to Bangkok and started training with Sangten and Paul Manort, Sangten was a regular, and a couple other boys at the camp were fighting on Songchai shows. So I'd go watch Sangten fight at Lumpinee, and it was always the greatest shows you could ever see, the best versus the best. And then every Saturday night was Songchai's promotions show on Channel 5. So I learned very fast that he was the man to fight for. Songchai, who was Thailand's #1 promoter, he said, "Oh, I really enjoyed your fight. You showed a lot of promise. We want to make you one of the boys in our promotions." So he was #1. From going from small time little village fights to all of a sudden fighting on TV and fighting in front of crowds of 40, 50, 60,000 people was just a dream come true.
เจอจอห์นเวนครั้งแรกที่เขามาฝึกมวยไทยแล้วเป็นเด็กที่แปลกก็ติดตามยอดมวยไทยของเราตอนนั้นแสงเทียนน้อยพอเริ่มประเดิมจัดครั้งแรกนี่เขาชกได้ดีแหละเป็นนักมวยฝรั่งคนเดียวที่ใช้ศิลปะมวยไทยเตะเข่านะแล้วก็เตะศอกเข่าเป็นนักมวยฝรั่งที่ท้ามวยไทยฟันศอกแล้วจะเป็นนักมวยฝรั่งที่ใช้ทัดมาลาคือปักศอกเข้าไปจอห์นเวนทำได้ลูกนี้คนไทยทำได้ก็คือฟันศอกแต่จอห์นเวนนี่หักปักศอกโอ้จอห์นเวนนี่ต่อยกับโอโรโน่ก็ดุเดือดมั้งลูกเขาต่อยกับยอดมวยไทยนะจอห์นเวนนี่ไม่ได้ต่อยกับมวยโดยทั่วไปนะเขาต่อยกับมวยระดับเงินแสนทั้งนั้น
ผมจำได้มิสเตอร์ทรงชัยช่วยผมชกครั้งแรกชกชนะand then เจอ Orono ครั้งแรกทรงชัยมาที่ห้องก่อนชกวันนี้สมมติชนะได้เราเที่ยวหน้าให้ชกชิงแชมป์ลุมพินีแต่วันนั้นผมแพ้
ไม่เป็นไร
โดนแดกโดน
สอบแตก
The 6th of July 1997, Chachoengsao, Thailand. A just turned 21-year-old John Wayne Parr with only 21 fights to his name takes on the veteran of some 250 battles, the legendary Orono. This is Parr's first fight against a Thai superstar. Round 2, Parr takes a painful elbow which opens a nasty cut. But with the courage of a true warrior, fights on. After a tight clinch, Parr's facial cut opens up and the doctor is forced to call a halt to the match.
เป็นมวยหนึ่งในจำนวนเป็นมวยยอดมวยอ่ะคุณชกกับยอดมวยทั้งนั้นนะมันไม่ใช่ฝรั่งมาชกกับมวยที่ใหม่ๆนะ
ตอนนั้นชกเจอ Orono เจ็บที่สุด
แล้วใครอีก
ชกS1 ชก S1 สนุกคิดว่าไม่เคยคิดจะชนะครับแต่โชคดี
ไม่โชคดีเราเก่งเราเก่งช่องสตาร์บอสกี้นี่ก็ถือว่าเป็นมวยยอดมวยฝรั่งคนแต่คุณดีกว่าเพราะนี่เขาระดับเดียวกับรามอนเดกเกอร์
My fight with Skabowski was very important because once upon a time I was the best foreigner in Thailand, but now that I left Skabowski, he was the new hero, and he was the man that everyone was cheering. This was only a 3-round fight, so it was pretty much like a sprint. From bell to bell, it was non-stop action. Skabowski had a habit of being a little bit lazy with his jab. Every time he'd throw it, he wouldn't bring it back to his guard, and I would try and come over the top with my right hand to land flush on his face. This was the winning shot coming off the ropes. As I came back off, I landed the right hand flush on the bridge of his nose, breaking the bone, creating a cut, and also loosening some teeth. King's birthday, the year 2000, I was supposed to fight another pretty famous Thai who was a right-hander, orthodox stance. And then at the weigh-in, my opponent hopped on the scale and he was, say, 69. Then I hopped on the scales and I was 72. And Songchai wasn't happy. I can't put this fight on. There's too much weight difference. Masato was supposed to fight Orono, but now Masato's fighting someone else, so Orono's free. Why don't you rematch Orono tomorrow? And then my whole stomach fell through, and then I rang Sangten, and I said, Sangten, there's a change of plan. They want me to fight Orono. He's a southpaw. I haven't prepared for a southpaw. And Sangten was confident. He started laughing. He said, "Nah, we'll take this fight. I reckon there's a good chance we can win this. I've even got a game plan. I'll tell you tomorrow." I couldn't sleep. I'm nervous. I kept having all these evil dreams about how Orono was going to touch me up again. So in the morning, I've woken up and I've run downstairs. Okay, Sangten, please help me. What's this game plan? He said, easy. Tonight, I want you to fight southpaw. Southpaw versus southpaw. So, mate, I've never trained southpaw before. He's a world champion at southpaw and he's going to smash me. I said, no, I'll explain to you. If you stand orthodox and he's southpaw, it's easy for his elbows to land flush in your face. Where if you stand southpaw as well, that lead hand's going to protect you every time he lets that left elbow go. So it made sense. I did some shadow boxing in the gym and it seemed to work okay, but it wasn't enough to make me feel confident. I'm sitting up on stage waiting to walk out to the ring the whole time, just thinking, I'm dead. I'm going to get knocked out and smashed and killed. And I thought, I'll give this a go. If it doesn't work, I'll just change back. And then first round, it worked.
The 5th of December 2000, the King's birthday. A fight for the IMF world title. Parr is confident, fit, and comes at Orono hard. This was the making of the gunslinger. John Wayne Parr had arrived in the world of international Muay Thai. In Parr's corner that night was the legendary Sangten Noi, who told Parr that he had spent 4 years in Thailand, which was the equivalent to studying for a university degree. All you need for your diploma is the world title.
And after 5 rounds, I ran around the ring. I've gone to thank Orono. He sort of shrugged me off and pushed me to the side. He didn't want anything to do with me after our fight. And then, I took his world title off him and it was live on Thai TV. So to this day, it's probably one of the biggest highlights of my life. And then to beat him in front of 100,000 Thai TV world title as a Westerner in Thailand, I couldn't ask for a better scenario. It was the ultimate. I think the Thai people appreciate a Westerner coming to their country and fighting their sport and fighting hard. I don't think it matters if you win or lose. They're more worried about if you're going to stand there toe to toe and get cut and get hurt, but keep coming forward and keep trying your hardest. That's worth more than winning. So many foreigners, when I was there, I'd watch fight and they'd get the tiniest nick and they'd pretty much give up on their stalls. You just see them saying, mate, you're right, and they'd just shake their heads. They wouldn't want to go back out. Whereas I'd watch the Thais and the Thais would have half their head missing, and all they could do was they couldn't get out there fast enough to try and redeem themselves.
The hardness of Thai fighters was never more evident than when Wayne Parr clashed with Pengrit at the King's Cup tournament on December 5th, 1999. Parr was in devastating form and puts on a fight clinic. With surgical precision, Parr lands punch and kick combinations that would have ended a lesser adversary. With nationalistic pride and a courageous resolve, Pengrit battles through 5 brutal rounds. He hangs tough while suffering a broken arm and nose, ultimately going down on an obvious points decision. Pengrit demonstrated the spirit of a true warrior and endeared himself to an enormous crowd of some 150,000. Showing respect and humility in victory, Parr becomes the King's Cup champion.
I know JWP since he was basically a junior. I saw him fighting since I was in Australia myself for many years. I saw him fighting in the early days when he was 17, and then he obviously moved to Thailand for many years. He trained in Thailand, and he became a very big name in Thailand, especially with his famous white crew. We call him the gunslinger. He was the first one which actually went into the stadium and performed a little bit of a special white crew, having his little gun on the side. So he became very famous, and he was one of the first foreigners fighting at Lumpinee Stadium and making a big name of himself. The first foreigner winning the King's Cup twice. So he was very famous in Thailand, actually more famous in Thailand than he was in Australia at that time.
Wayne Parr is a true ambassador for the sport of Muay Thai. His multiple world titles and his ability to speak fluent Thai make him a very popular candidate for international media organizations. On a recent trip to Thailand, Parr was grabbed by Siam Sport Television, one of the leading sports broadcasters in Bangkok.
คนที่เหมือนบุคคลอย่างจรเนี่ยเขายังเรียนรู้ประสบการณ์ในเมืองไทยเขายังเรียนรู้วัฒนธรรมของคนไทยเขารู้จักที่จะเรียนรู้เรื่องคนไทยเขารู้จักที่จะบวชเขารู้จักมวยไทยเขาเป็นคนไทยเขาเป็นฝรั่งที่มีหัวใจเป็นคนไทยมากกว่าคนไทยบางคนซะอีก
John Wayne Parr has always been a keen student of the history of martial arts and was very pleased to be invited to China on a social visit, where he was able to fulfill a lifelong desire and visit the spiritual home of martial arts. The history of the Foshan ancestor temple can be traced back to the North Song dynasty, the structure being dedicated to the northern emperor, Bidi, who was said to have power over the waters of Guangdong. In 1949, it was converted into the Foshan Museum. Today, it is one of the major cultural relics of Guangdong province. The Chinese call it Zumio Temple, the elegance of its architecture reflecting the prosperity of ancient Foshan. What was meant to be a private meeting at the invitation of Chinese Sanshao kickboxer and action film star Liu Heilong, it quickly became a frenetic media event. With photographers and fans vying for Parr's attention, both men happily played to the camera and entertained the large crowd with an impromptu arm wrestle. Before heading back to Australia, John Wayne Parr was invited to privately visit the Dragon Complex of Shunde, which houses the Bruce Lee Museum. This was a very special moment for him. Away from the constant crowds, Parr could reflect on the influence Bruce Lee, a man considered to be the greatest martial artist of all time, had on his life as a professional fighter.
I met Wayne 9 years ago in Las Vegas in a training camp. We met on a Sunday, and by Friday we were going out on our first date at the Bellagio Casino. When I met Wayne, I had already accomplished quite a bit. I was 8-time United States champion. I won a world championship in 2001. I was recognized all over the country, and I was already at my peak and already in a comfortable position as a fighter, and I was happy.
Wayne and Angie Parr own and operate Boon Chu Gym on Queensland's Gold Coast. From the casual visitor keen to experience grassroots Muay Thai to world title holders, Boon Chu is well equipped to provide the necessary training and hard conditioning fighters need to achieve their goals. Both Parrs are hands-on. The gunslinger himself instructs beginners classes where eager students learn from the very best.
My main objective owning a gym was just to have somewhere to train and teach classes to help pay for the rent. And then as time went on, it was like moulding clay. The guys come in with no idea. You slowly build them up, and all of a sudden they're holding their own in sparring, and you get them a fight here and there. And now I've got half a dozen champions and a couple of world title holders. It's just sort of snowballed on from there. It's been very happy to what the boys have accomplished, and you feel like a father looking after your kids, seeing them do well.
Parr's sparring partner is junior welterweight Mark Saraceno, WMC and WKA Australian title holder. Saraceno will be fighting for the WKA South Pacific title in 3 weeks, a fight he will go on to win. Enter the aggressive Flip Street, holder of the WMC Asia Pacific title. Street is ramping up preparations for his WKBF world title match on December 11th with full Thai rules against the very accomplished Yodfet.
Yeah, first sparring session back after about 4 or 5 weeks off. Felt very lethargic, very slow. Balance is all gone. Last round, I grabbed Flip's leg and put him down. As I went down, he pulled me down with him. Fell on top of his knee, so I just got a little scratch there. It's okay. It doesn't need any stitches. It's only a little nick, so little paper cut. It's all right. And the problem is, once you have the scarring, it won't open on the same scar line. Along the side of the scar, the skin gets weaker. So along this eye, I've got about 5 or 6 lines that keeps breaking right beside each other. So this eye is starting to become a little bit of a problem. I've had probably 50 odd stitches in this eye alone. Well, I've had 260 stitches from fighting, but this eye just by itself is 50.
Fine-tuning his preparations to defend his PABA and WBF super middleweight titles is Les Sherrington. Parr's boxing skills are sublime, and just what Sherrington needs to prepare.
At Boon Chu Gym, we train all different levels of people. We train families, we train children, we train people that want to get fit, and then we also have fighters. A lot of people want to have that thrill of getting into the ring for the first time and have a go. So we made it a little bit safer option where they wear shin pads, 16-ounce gloves, and optional headgear. The tournaments have been a real success. We've had tournaments for 8 years, and we have champions we have fighters that had their first fight and they became champions, and it's just great to see and be able to watch with our own eyes the growth of Muay Thai in Australia.
A few times a year, Wayne and Angie Parr host tournaments held on Queensland's Gold Coast. It's an opportunity for amateur fighters to test their skills and, most importantly, to gain the priceless experience of competition.
Yeah, feeling good. Ready to go, fight day. Around quick like usual. No, I'm good.
Training at the Bootu Gym. Fighting for tonight's world title, the man they call the Flipper.
Main event on tonight's card is the world title fight between Flip Street and Yodfed. Both are hard-wearing, determined, and will not take a backward step. With no love lost, the crowd want action, and these warriors do not disappoint. After a spirited opening exchange, a sickening head clash put Street on the back foot. A large gash opening over his left eye. The corner have to pull out all stops to stem the bleeding so Street can come out for the next round.
The elbows flying thick and fast. And each of them wants to take home the world title belt.
It is a close-fought match, but Street has the benefit of Wayne Parr in his corner. His experience is enough to guide Street through this bloody Muay Thai war. As the battle wages, Street's cut reopens. Yodfed lands a ripping elbow, resulting in a nasty wound on Street's face. Street doesn't want the fight to be stopped, and because the blood flow isn't affecting his vision, the doctor allows the match to continue. It is a bruising 5 rounds of Muay Thai with both fighters showing enormous courage throughout the ebb and flow of their intense battle. This was as close as Muay Thai competition can get. The result went Street's way with only 1 point in it.
The Thai come back hard, but Flip accumulated the points earlier on, so good fight, good fight. With the cuts like that, he just goes to prove what a warrior he is, because a lot of people wouldn't give up, but he kept going, so that's awesome.
Street becomes a WKBF world champion and proudly displays the battle wounds.
พอไปต่อยครั้งแรกที่ออสเตรเลียครับเจอกับจอห์นเวย์นี่นะครับครั้งแรกเลยครับแล้วก็เป็นครั้งแรกที่ผมไปต่อยต่างประเทศครับแล้วก็ผมรู้สึกตื่นเต้นครับตื่นเต้นแล้วก็รู้สึกตื่นเต้นแล้วก็อีกอย่างก็เป็นบ้านของจอห์นเวย์นะครับแล้วก็ความรู้สึกผมก็กลัวว่าถ้าไม่ชนะขาดหรือไม่ชนะน็อกนี้ผมก็กลัวว่าจะแพ้เขาครับแต่พอดีผมก็ได้นับเขาแล้วก็ต่อยมาเรื่อยเขาก็ให้ผมชนะครับแล้วก็ผลความก็ชนะครับก็ได้แชมป์ก็ดีใจมากครับที่ต่อยครั้งแรกชนะแต่เป็นวาสนาผมครับ
จนเวียนวาสนาเขาไม่ถึงครับ
He kicked me in the head, put me down for an 8 count, where the rest of the fight was just on pure survival. I can't remember anything after the knockdown, but I ended up managing to get to the end of the 5th round and losing on points. Mid 2006, there was word around the streets that they were going to do a Muay Thai contender. The boxing contender had been a very large show around the world. It's the same as every other format, 16 guys live in a house. But now they're going to do the Muay Thai version. I get a phone call saying, hello, this is such and such producer from the United States. Would you be interested in being a competitor in the Contender Asia? I said, oh yeah, I'll give you my answer right now. It's definitely a yes.
16 of the best Muay Thai fighters from around the world came to Singapore for the chance to win $150,000 US. Each week, 2 will face off, the winner stays, and the loser goes home.
They'd shoot 1 episode every 3 days. So Monday was challenge, Tuesday was training, and then Wednesday would be fight night, and then same on the other side. So Thursday challenge, and then Saturday would be fight night, and then it would have Sunday off. So there no newspaper, no TV, no radio. We just have to rely on each other as feedback to talk about fights, so that have material to use for the show. So yeah, I ended up my first fight ended up being against the French bloke. It was the first time in my life that I'd ever been so angry and ever wanted to knock someone out as bad as I did that night. If I had kept my cool, I think I could have dominated it and stopped him. But because I was so angry, the harder I tried to knock him out, the less chance that it was coming. So I ended up having a 5-round war, and luckily for me, I beat him. My second fight was against a gentleman called Zidov from Switzerland. Poor Zidov, he's a really nice guy, funny, good jokes, good stories, but he's very limited Muay Thai skills. He tries, big heart, but yeah, just not quite there. Very lucky that he got on the show. By just how it worked, I was to fight him second, and then I stopped him in the 3rd round. My last fight was in the semi-finals against Jabbar Askarov from Russia. Very tough a competitor again. It was me and him who was going to fight Yodsinglai in the final. Once again, 5-round war. I got an opportunity to go to the final with Yodsinglai.
แต่พอดีก็ได้มาเจอกันที่รอบชิงชนะเลิศ
The final with Yodsinglai was one of the biggest fights of my career. He's the toughest fighter in the world, pound for pound, so I really had to make sure that I brought my A-game. I wanted to prove to him that I wasn't afraid and walk forward and constantly give him pressure. If I give him room to breathe, then that means he'd have his way with me, so I wanted to show that not only I wasn't afraid, but I was going to have a crack. That knee landed flush and it winded me. And then as I was winded, I slowly brought my left hand back and he came over the top with his own punch and put me down for the 8 count. Even here, I'm still struggling to breathe. So I'm lucky the fight didn't get stopped in the 1st round.
Solid knockdown from Yodsinglai. A lot with his boxing skills. He sees that as an opening.
Yodsinglai is probably the hardest hitter that I've ever fought. You could just feel everything, every punch, every kick, every elbow. Even there, that one landed flush, cutting me again. And then he's always cheeky. Just when you do something good, he just gives you a little smirk to say, nah, that's nothing.
Oh, certainly not. As they trade again, a lot of leather being thrown. This is unbelievable.
Right here, Yodsinglai takes a little step to the side and nails me with the straight left, bang. It was the same sensation as if you were to be hit in the head with a sledgehammer. I've never been hit so hard in my whole career at that point. I knew this was the last fight that my dad was ever going to see, so all I kept thinking every time I got knocked down was just get up, you got to finish this fight. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, just make sure you finish it. I'm one of these people, if I get knocked down, I get back up and I run at you, and I'm just to prove that you didn't hurt me. I'm a pressure fighter. My technique is not the greatest, but what I lack in technique, I make up in being in your face and constantly throwing technique at you. You're single, just showing how technical he is once again. One little mistake and you're on the canvas picking yourself up. Very lucky not to get kicked in the head with that one. Don't try that at home, kids.
And he just breaks it. Left hook, right hand. Got some pride, looking for the counter kick. You can see the tactics here of Wayne Parr in the final round. He's going for the grapple. He's closing the distance on Yodson Fly. He's not allowing the Phenom to work that real...
If I stood at range, Yodson Fly would have kicked me to death. So the best thing is to do is just get in that pocket and just keep attacking. Don't stop. No matter what happens, don't stop. Here we are, almost 30 seconds on the clock. I knew I was down on points after 2 knockdowns. It was either balls to the wall or lose. So I just had to go for it. From here, Yodson Glade just took this round. I think the last 30 seconds he come back and just landed a few heavy shots on me that I couldn't do nothing about. It was sort of like the icing on the cake after dropping me twice. I was happy with my performance that I got up and finished the fight, but Yodson Glade is just not on another level. At this point, I didn't care that I lost the fight. I didn't care that I wasn't the contender champion. I was just devastated that I didn't win for my dad, because it was the last time that he'd ever get to see me fight. That hurt more than losing the fight.
From all other fight sports, the respect and the martial arts tradition.
Showing respect as a winner and showing grace in defeat as much as a victory is a very important part of Muay Thai. It's actually the foundation of our sport.
End of October 2007 was the filming of the last episode, and then there was a 6-month gap before the final. So I went back to Australia. My poor dad got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, so that hit me for 6. My wife got pregnant. We were going to have a little boy, so now I'm here on this massive high from just about to have a little boy to my dad just getting more skinnier and skinnier and weaker. From the Gold Coast, I had to drive to Brisbane to go to the airport, and so I left my car at Dad's, and Dad's mustered enough strength to come outside to wish me good luck, and it just tore me apart seeing my dad in the condition that he was. And then there was the first time on the way to Singapore that I had time by myself, where I didn't have to think about family or the gym or responsibilities. All of my last memories was Dad's waving goodbye to me, and all I wanted to do more than anything in the world was to win. I didn't care that it was the prize money. I didn't care about the show. I think every man wants their father proud of them, no matter what circumstances. Coming second on the contender wasn't a bad payday. I still got okay money. It was enough for me to have a little bit of a break and spend time with Dad. At this stage, Dad got to the stage where he could no longer live on the outside. He had to go to hospital. I'd send him in for a checkup, and we never left. I'd go for the next 3 weeks, from 10 in the morning till 9 at night, being his carer. During that time, the contender aired, the final aired, and I got to show Dad my fight with Yodson Guy, and we watched the fight, and I got dropped and dropped again, and I fought hard through it, round 3, round 4, round 5. I did my hardest, and at the end of it, Dad leant down off the bed, just gave me one of those father to son pats on the shoulder. He said, "No, you did well, mate. You fought hard. I'm proud of you, mate." And that was worth more to me than anything the contender could have offered. So yeah, it really sucks.
One of Parr's most formidable opponents was the superstar Greek kickboxing champion, Iron Mike Zambides, arguably one of the toughest pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Their first battle was in 2002, where Zambides won on a points decision, which was seen by some as a controversial one. The highly anticipated rematch came 7 years later, and what a momentous showdown it was. Fight fans wanted a war, and these two warriors didn't let them down.
This was a very important fight for myself because for 7 years I had to live with the burden of having the loss to Zambides. Zambides was angry that I wasn't walking forward and making him come to me, so he started yelling at me, giving me abuse, telling me to come on, come forward, come into my range, but I wasn't going to play any part of it. I was going to make him come to me, and every time I did I was going to make him pay for it too. I had a slight height advantage, so I was trying to keep everything long punches, long kicks, stepping with knees and getting out of there again before he could unleash his bombs. Here I cut him perfect across the eye. I watched the skin split in front of my eyes, and it was massive. So I'm surprised they even let the fight continue, but I'm glad they did.
Zambides is cut.
Their corner wasn't very professional. They didn't have Vaseline or adrenaline prepared.
At least another 10-9 round for John Wayne Parr. Let's take a little charge after that cut and try and widen it. Probing with the jab, Wayne Parr throws the right hand up the tube. High left round kick from the Aussie.
From here, just in the zone, you can't afford to make one mistake. It's constant focus.
Because I've got him trailing 2 rounds to Parr.
Well, certainly we want to see JW launch that right hand. He's going to try and open up that cut. I tell you what, he's tough and he's nugget, and he's going to try and go bombing now because he knows he's on.
I found my left kick was just landing time and time again, so that was my main weapon. Every time he come in, halfway through a punch, I'd let my left leg go to land flush on his ribs to pull up his punches.
Kickboxing world champion. He's only thrown maybe 1 or 2 knees in the fight so far.
Bang, and again. And again.
Right hand. Oh, there it is, and Wayne Parr stands up to it. If there's one thing Parr has got, it is incredible heart.
Just staying long, in and out, in and out. Don't get into his range. At this stage I was feeling confident that the fight was going my way, so just had to keep focusing on what I was doing, listen to my instructions in the corner, just make sure there was no mistakes.
What are they doing? What needs to be done to a cut?
Well, they've got a mixture of adrenaline and that's in there. They'll be trying to get it into the cut to clot the blood, stem the bleeding zones in between the fights.
More left legs. Michael had no answer for them, so I could throw them all night and pretty much land at will.
Dave Hedgecock telling Zambides, keep the punches up. That is a horrid cut over the eye of Zambides as he clips Wayne with a left hook, goes to the body again.
And here I felt like I rocked him, so I wanted to jump on him and hopefully finish the fight before the end of the distance. But once again, I couldn't afford to get too punch happy, otherwise I could have walked on a more damaging shot, so in and out. Constantly moving.
Got through.
Didn't get through. Haven't got it through. The head would have rocked back.
It was on the body.
Overhand right got through for Zambides though. And Parr sticks the jab. Smack back with a snugger.
There's the right hand.
Nicely done. Wayne Parr catches him again with that right hand to the cut area.
Right here I get a little bit complacent and get hit with that overhand right, which buckled my legs just a fraction. I moved around a little bit just to recover, make sure that the head was clear, and then back into it.
Zambides going for broke. Zambides going for a knockout by Parr.
Well, he's saying that he can wear Zambides overhand and answer. Zambides letting it all.
I wanted to show also that I wasn't afraid to stand there and box with him as well. He might have had heavy hands, but I believe my hands were pretty sharp at that stage as well. So, and this is just showing off a little bit. I thought I had the fight in the bag, so I wanted to show that not only did we win the fight, but I could also embarrass him a little bit as well. This was probably one of the happiest moments in my career. After the 7 years of waiting, I finally got my revenge in front of almost 5,000 people, all up on their feet with a standing ovation. It was just the perfect scenario. I couldn't help but keep the tears from flowing down the cheeks because I was such a proud moment. Richard Vell was so happy also. After all the years that he looked after me, we'd finally done it. We'd become one of the best fighters in Australia. Without his help, I'd never be where I am today. So he's like my dad. I'm so happy that he's been supporting me for so many years.
Give it up once again, ladies and gentlemen, from Australia, Wayne Parr!
2010, Joe Nader offered me a fight down in Melbourne against Lam Songkran, who was a multiple world champion, who I'd been following his career as one of these people that I thought that one day paths would cross for sure. He'd just come off a couple of big victories around the world, so he was a very, very tough competitor. His main weapons were his knees and his elbows, so we prepared a lot for that in the gym prior to the fight.
เวลนี่เป็นนักมวยที่ว่าในดวงใจผมคนหนึ่งเลยนะที่ว่ารุ่นเดียวกันนะมีผมมีจอมเวลแล้วก็ยอดแสนเกย์นี่เพิ่งขึ้นมาทีหลังที่ว่าผมใฝ่ฝันมากเลยที่ว่าผมอยากจะต่อยอ่ะ
Surely John Wayne Parr would love to catch him early.
Oh, Lampson-Crone just unloading with the elbows to start off with.
Make him pay.
Oh, you can see Lampson-Crone just setting up some massive elbows, but the gunslinger John Wayne Parr just coming back with some massive punches.
ที่ว่าโชคร้ายไปหน่อยที่ว่าผมมาต่อยกับเบลวันนั้นที่ว่าสภาพร่างกายไม่ค่อยดีเท่าไหร่มันหยุดด้วยครับหยุดนานแล้วก็แต่ว่าก็ยอมรับว่าเบลนี่เป็นนักมวยในดวงใจผมเลยอ่ะก็ดีครับดีวันนั้นต่อยไฟนั้นก็
Massive elbow from Lampson-Crone, but Wayne Parr, mate, just standing there, just trading with him.
อันนี้จะพูดว่าเป็นคนไทยเลยไม่ได้ครับเป็นคนไทยนี่มีแค่ศิลปะครับว่ามันขึ้นอยู่กับตัวเบลด้วยถ้าเขาก็อย่างเงี้ยครับคนเราถ้าเขาขยันฝึกซ้อมอะไรมันคนเรามีชื่อเสียงไปไม่ใช่ว่าคนไทยช่วยอะไรก็จะได้จากอาจารย์บ้างครับนิสัยดีไม่ใช่ว่าคนเก่งแล้วยิงทวนลงอย่างนี้ก็ไม่ดีเลยอย่างนี้ไม่ดีเลย
Chance to grapple. I'd like to see let it go a little bit longer, let the guys grapple in close, but good handiwork there again from Wayne. Stiff up there from Lampson-Crone. You can see Lampson-Crone just continually kicking out the lead leg and kicking nice. Oh, big crossing elbow. Just caught Wayne flush on the jaw, but no damage. Lampson-Crone's determined, mate, to use those elbows and try and cut Wayne to pieces, but good crossing elbow there from Wayne, gives his own back. Lampson-Crone just nods at him and says, yeah, that one got me. Oh, big hands there again from Wayne.
เตะก็หนักต่อยก็หนักแทงเขาก็หนักสอบก็เป็นหนักหมดแต่ว่าสำคัญว่าไฟเนี่ยจิตใจเขาจะหนักแน่นไหมถ้าจิตใจเขาหนักแน่นเขามาสู้เต็มที่คนเยอะนะครับคนเยอะชนะแน่นอนมั่นใจเลยผมมั่นใจว่าชนะแน่นอน
He's really loading up here.
A couple of nice whipping low kicks there landed by
Dave Hitchcock just keeping the boys separated there. Oh, some good hands there from Wayne, and he's rockily vicious with those elbows, but Wayne's just massive right hand.
Your winner by unanimous decision from Australia, John Wayne Parr.
JWP is very strong, and fighting the Thais, that's where it's really bread and butter is. I mean, he is Thai. His grappling is very strong. His kicks are very strong. His hands are much stronger than the Thais, and that's going to give him a little bit of the edge sometimes against fighters like Lampson-Crone.
I started fighting for Joe Nader. The first time was against Michael Zambides, and we had a massive crowd. And then Joe invited me back to fight Lampson-Crone, and I had another win. These are two of the best fighters in the world, so two of the best for 2 wins. So how good's this? And then Joe asked me, he said, who would you like the next challenge? I said, I wouldn't mind an easy one. He said, nah, that's impossible. You keep winning, so you're going to have to keep getting the hard guys for you. So it was a toss-up between either Borkow or Yodsanglai, and they both had beaten me twice in the past. Borkow's management refused to let him fight over 70, but Yodsanglai was happy to step in and beat me up once again. Angie said, why don't you go to Thailand? This is such an important fight. Yodsanglai, he's the top of the top, so no shortcuts. Go to Thailand. I said, you sure? What about the family, and what about the gym, and what about the business? He goes, I don't care. I'll take care of it all. You go over there, you come back and you win. I'd met Sanchai, who is pound for pound the greatest Muay Thai fighter in this modern era. And he said, if you ever come to Thailand, please look me up and come and train with me.
เคยเห็นหน้ายังไม่เคยแต่ว่ามารู้จักชื่อช่วงเขาเป็นแชมป์เขาต่อยที่ราบเนินต่อยที่สนามหลวงนี่ครับพอได้ยินชื่อนี่ครับได้ยินชื่อดังมากๆครับแต่ก่อนแต่ไม่เคยได้คุยกันนี่ครับพอรู้คร่าวๆว่าเขาเคยซ้อมอยู่กับพี่แสงเทียนนี่ครับแสงเทียนน้อยเพิ่งมารู้ตอนเขามาซ้อมที่13เหรียญนี่ครับที่แบบสนิทกันมากๆก็มาเขามาซ้อมที่13เหรียญพอดีเขาต่อยกับยอดแสนไกลครับยอดแสนไกลเป็นมวยซ้ายพอดีผมก็เป็นมวยซ้ายก็เลยซ้อมด้วยกันลองดูอย่างนี้ครับเพราะว่าผมเตะซ้ายให้เขาบังเอาให้เขากันเอาอย่างนี้ครับคิดว่าตอนที่เขาต่อยกันเขาไม่เคยแบบมาแบบจะเอาจริงจังแบบว่ามาให้ผมแก้ทางว่าเตะซ้ายคือไอ้ยอดแสนไกลครับแต่ก่อนเขาซ้อมแบบยังไงผมไม่รู้แต่ว่ามาอยู่พอผมเห็นปั๊บดูการเทรนการสอนไปผมคิดว่าน่าจะสู้ได้
I asked Sancho, I said, is there any chance of one of the Thai trainers, the pad holders, to come to Australia with me to help me out in the corner? And then Sancho was thinking for a second. He goes, what about me? I said, you. That would be amazing, but I didn't think you'd... He said, I'd love to go to Australia. I love Australia. So I said, yeah, no worries. So I organised his visa, and then next thing I got the greatest. I got the Muhammad Ali of Muay Thai sitting beside me, coming to Australia to help me fight my nemesis, Yodsanglai.
ได้มาออสเตรเลียได้อยู่บ้านได้ซ้อมที่ค่ายโอ้มันใช่เพื่อนซ้อมตอนนี้เป็นเพื่อนแล้ว
เป็นพี่น้อง
So guys, under Muay Thai rules, this is as good as you get anywhere around the world.
ไปเจอที่เมลเบิร์นครับเจอกันที่เมลเบิร์นแล้วก็ครั้งที่3นี้ผมแพ้ครับแต่ดูแล้วก็ไม่น่าแพ้ครับแล้วก็ทางจอร์เบนเขาก็บอกว่าผมก็น่าชนะแต่ที่บ้านเขาครับแต่ไม่รู้เขาให้คะแนนไงผมก็ไม่ทราบครับทุกคนเขาก็มองว่าผมก็น่าชนะ
I was ringside in Melbourne for the fight when he fought Yot, and I knew this was a big fight for John Wayne only because of the previous encounters and there's a lot of excitement sitting there, especially when you know one of the fighters. I mean, I don't know Yod, but I obviously know John Wayne. So there's a lot of apprehension, I think, everywhere, especially when you get in the ring with somebody as dangerous as a Thai fighter of that skill. For me, it was that final round. I mean, I was sitting with Bob Jones and we're like, wow, this is a great fight. But that final round, when John Wayne really poured it on with those punches, in karate, we used to call it blitzing, where he's just multiple punches. It's the mere aggression that, for me, won that round for him. And I know some of the judges were scoring it either way, this way, that way. But to be fair, even if all the other rounds were equal, that 5th round for me absolutely won it for John Wayne Parr. I mean, the aggression he showed and the heart he showed was enough. And we know, in the Muay Thai game, in Thailand they would have scored it differently, only because they put more weight on the kicks and the knees, etc., not so much on the punches. But for me, from a Western background, with so much respect for boxing, we're also well aware of the dangerous aspects of hands, and again, I was very comfortable with his win.
จอห์น เวนพานี้จุดแข็งของเขาหมัดครับทั้งซ้ายขวาหมัด
Pretty hard to make it up in a 5-rounder. Here he goes though. Good handiwork though, and Yodsanglai just leaning out of the way, fires back with a slapping ram. Nice and tight. Big exchange there from both boys. Wayne just walking forward, some big hands.
ตั้งแต่ช่วงเขาแตกมากลัวอย่างนั้นกลัวเขาแตกมากกว่านี้กลัวเขาโดนกรรมการจับแพ้
Yod's thrown a couple of elbows, and I think one of those has obviously got through. Look, it's under the eye, so it's not going to cause any damage. But between rounds, they're going to have to get to work on that. But Yodsanglai will be focusing on that now.
Yeah, make sure it doesn't start swelling on him.
ลุ้นให้เขาแบบอย่าท้ออย่างนี้ถ้าเขาไม่ท้อสักอย่างอะไรเขาก็เกิดขึ้นได้อะไรก็เขาก็ชนะได้ครับ
I was watching the two fighters at the end, Yod there and John Wayne. I could see the apprehension on John Wayne's face. but when they did declare him the winner, it was such an honest appreciation. Like some fighters get to the stage, especially after as many fights as John Wayne's had, where you kind of, maybe you do it for the pay ticket, you know, or you do it for another little credit. But he was truly elated. You know, I love the fact that that fight and that win absolutely, it meant the world to him.
For your winner and the new WKA middleweight champion of the world from Australia, John Wayne Parr!
In the ring, I started running around just uncontrollably, just from the excitement. I've just been beating one of the greatest middleweight fighters in the world, and now I've beaten him. So it was a lifelong accomplishment to be the best of the best. And not only was it for a world title, but it was a genuine Thai that's regarded as the hardest kicker in the world. So
the rematch, John Wayne Parr versus Yotsenglai, first of all shows that JWP still can do toe-to-toe with the best. There is a Yotsenglai in 72.5 kilo is definitely one of the best in the world, if not the best. So for JWP to revenge him from the contender final and win is a very important victory for him and a very important confidence victory at this part of his career where many people go down. He actually stepped up one more time and beat the absolute superstar, and I think that has done wonders for him and maybe has given him another year of life in the ring, because if he would have lost against Yotsenglai for the third time, that would have been very frustrating as a fighter. If you lose 3 times against the same guy in your division, that means people know that you're not the number one, but he now proved that he is the number one, or still can be the number one. So I think the fight Yotsenglai versus John Wayne Parr was a very important psychological victory for him in order to keep him going for another 12 months.
yeah, in the future, yeah, I think 3 times. We're sick of them beating each other up. I hope so anyway. Yeah, เบื่อยังชกกับผม
เบื่อแล้วชกกับตัวนี้เบื่อแล้ว
There's no fight that I can ever have from this moment forward that's ever going to top of beating Yotsenglai that night. There's nothing that's ever going to come close to it.
So now we're at the stage where Wayne Parr, you know, like a lot of fighters, he's done it now. You know, it's like fighters get to a stage, well, I've done it all. What else do I need to do? You know, I've got nothing left to prove. So then you got to ask yourself, well, what are my avenues? I can become a fitness trainer. I can run a gym and everything.
So the future for him looks very bright because he's very famous through Contender Asia. He was probably the most liked character in the whole show. So in the future, he's probably going to give many seminars. He could be a motivational speaker, and I'm sure he's going to have a very successful gym on the Gold Coast.
The avenue that's open now to people like John Wayne is the movie industry. That's a tough industry. The difference with John Wayne is he has the skills, he has the fan base and everything else, he's got a built-in audience, and he's real. And that's a huge element, you know, where you can get somebody up there on screen that is doing movies, even though they're playing, you know, a character and it's just written, a script and everything, to be able to actually look at that person and know he's for real, that he's actually been, you know, a world champion, the likes of John Wayne Parr, that means a lot, I think, from the credibility factor. So I think he's got an incredible opportunity here, you know, to have a screen career. The discipline he has will take him a long way, you know, in a movie career, because as I said before, training for movies it's almost like training for a fight. There's a huge expectation, you know, of 14, 16-hour days, week after week, in order to sort of get through a movie. So there's some rigors involved there, and I think with his discipline, his knowledge of the fight game and everything else, I think he's going to fit in really well.
After my career as being a professional fighter, I definitely want to stay in the limelight. If I could stay in the media somehow, I'd really like to get into the movie industry. I think I have what it takes. It's just like anyone in a new profession, I'd have to learn some skills from an acting point of view, but definitely I'd like to take it to the next level, and hopefully that can be my career after I hang up the gloves.
Nice job. Everybody good? All right, let's do one more. Set.
Wayne has to do. He loves that front round kick, but he doesn't want to get stuck on the ropes with Zambides.
5 3-minute rounds.
Look at that. Look at that.
Rules, and this is what the crowd has come to see.
And this is exactly what Wayne doesn't want. He doesn't want Zambides getting with his back against the ropes there. That's why he decided, load up, don't just cover.
Look at the look in Michael Zambides' eyes. He wants to take Wayne Parr's head off. Wayne is composed in centre ring.
But Wayne knows he's got to use that teep kick like you like. He's got to use that left leg round kick to stop Zambides setting up that powerful overhand right.
And Mike Zambides knows he's got to go to war from the opening bell because he can't afford to play chess, because anything that could be reasonably even will go against him each round.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, you saw in the promo that was put together by Fivo Christodoulou before
John Wayne caught him!
Wayne Parr has dropped Mike Zambides in the first round.
Mike Zambides down on one knee, a standing 8 count from Dave Hedgecock. What a turnaround. I wasn't expecting that one.
And look, Mike Zambides rattled.
Mike is going in. Mike Zambides is hurt. He's done. He's done. Zambides is out.
That's a second 8 count to Wayne Parr in round 1.
Wayne Parr with knockout punches. That very first round.
Richard, no one would have expected this
I would
so early.
not in a million years.
And Michael Zambides is...
a front kick to the head. Then the left hand from Zambides caught him. Zambides still trying to shake that off, though. That's a hard
He's
call.
rattled. He's rattled.
He's hurt. He's hurt. John Wayne going for the kill. Railing punches down at Zambides. Zambides covering up, trying desperately to last this.
Referee Dave Hedgecock keeping an eye on it. He doesn't want to step in and stop it, but Mike Zambides is not fighting back.
He's fighting back. What are you looking at, John? He's fighting back. He's in trouble. He's fighting back.
He's in a lot of trouble, though. Look at Wayne Parr just railing punches.
He's ready to get stopped. That's enough. There should be over. That's enough. There should be over.
That's it. What a result, John. A knockout in the first round at the hands of the gunslinger.